The creation of plastic water bottles made it easier than ever to drink water wherever you want. About 1 million plastic water bottles are sold per minute around the world. Let's dive a little deeper into how it's made and what happens to them post-consumption. First, let's start with the creation of the water bottle. It begins with raw material extraction, where crude oil and natural gas are extracted from the environment. After the extraction, the crude oil is transported to a processing facility called a refinery, where it's fractionally distilled to separate the different hydrocarbons, including gas, fuel oil, and plastics, and many more. Then comes polymerization. Polyethylene terephthalate, PET, is made from a petroleum hydrocarbon, which is the main ingredient used in the manufacture of most plastic bottles. PET is made by mixing hydrocarbons with chemical catalysts, which basically trigger the polymerization. Then tests are carried to see whether the PET is glossy, thick, or if it's permeable to carbon dioxide. Then the PET mixture is heated and placed in molds, which is the next step in our process. There's a lot of different ways plastic can be molded, but injection molding is the most common. That's basically where plastic granules, or pellets, are forced into a heating hopper, which then liquefies them and pushes them down into the mold that creates the bottle. Once this step is complete, comes packaging. So the bottles are disinfected, filled, capped, branded, and packed, ready for transportation. This whole process is done by machines that basically hold the bottle from the top and then convey them and fill them up to the prescribed amount of water. After this stage, they're grouped, packed, and shipped and could either go to your supermarket or your refrigerator. Once they go home from the supermarket, water bottles have a life expectancy of about 10 minutes. So what happens to these 1 million water bottles that were sold every minute after they're created? Good question. Single-use plastics frequently don't make it to the landfill or are recycled. Studies say a full 32% of the 78 million tons of plastic packaging produced annually is left into our oceans, which is basically the equivalent of pouring one garbage truck of plastic into the ocean every minute. This is expected to increase to 2 per minute and by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. By 2050, this means that there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than there are fish. Still aren't shocked? Well, scientists used to think that plastic broke down after a couple thousand years, but we're now finding out that they don't actually ever go away. So every piece of plastic that's ever been made is still on this planet. And instead of biodegrading, plastics break down into microscopic pieces called microplastics. These microplastics have recently been found in the deepest parts of our ocean and the center of icebergs. So this isn't just harming the animals whose ecosystems we're ruining, but it's also not good for us. These plastics are in our water sources and even in the smallest parts of the food chain. Studies have now found that humans are eating about a credit card's worth of plastic every week. So now you may be asking what you can do to help send all of this plastic into the ocean and harm ourselves and other animals. Well, choosing to buy products with less packaging or no packaging altogether makes a big difference. So bringing your reusable water bottle will help more than you ever realize, even if you just think it's one water bottle.